Hello. In this video, we're going to show you how to launch and recover this powerboat in this container here, Thunder. Now, first thing we need to do is go and get the keys. I've got the key for the container from the key safe in the start box. Now we need to go and get the key so we can actually operate the powerboat. Okay, so we've been to get the keys. These ones here, these operate the powerboat, and these ones open up the container, which is behind me. So the first thing we need to do, now you will need 2 people for this, but only 1 person for this end of this door, okay? So we're going to open up the container to see the rear of the boat. Let's do it. So we'll remove the padlock first of all, and we'll place it on this little metal bit here. That means the next person that comes to put the boat away or operate it knows exactly where to find the padlock. Now, because this is a lorry container, it has 4 different points where it attaches, so it's quite difficult to open at times. Can be a bit fiddly. So watch this. Going to lift the levers, bring them towards us, and then the door will open. Make sure that it doesn't push you into the water. Now, stepping out of its way, we can open the door. Next, we repeat the same on this side, taking note of the blue rope, which attaches to the pole, which is in the grass over here. Now, this is a 2-man job, so the other person at this point goes to the other end and opens up the other door. We're now at the far end of the container. The second person would now typically open up the door, make sure the padlock's in the right place, and then prepare the boat for launching. Now we're in the container, we need to turn on the winch and detach the tether to make sure it will actually move backwards. This is the tether here, it should be put on when the boat is put away, which stops the boat rolling backwards if the winch fails for whatever reason. So we're going to remove this. Okay, so the winch is down here, the switch is in the top corner, a little rocker switch at the top there, and the isolator for the battery is on the far side, which is this red thing where I'm pointing now. Now it should be turned off. You can just do a quick check of the button just in case it was powered on still. Turn the red isolator 90 degrees to the right, clockwise, and then quickly check you'll notice there that we're now getting a bit of movement on the winch. Now we've opened up the doors and turned on the winch at the far end, we can think about bringing the boat into the water. But first we have to do something very important, and that's placing the bungs in so it doesn't sink. So the main bung is at the base of the hole down here, it's dangling down. Hopefully the previous user will have removed it. If you find it has been left in, just take it out, just let any water out, put it back in again. I'll show you how to do that now. So just hand tight on the screw is enough. There are 4 internal bungs which I'll put in now. Next, before you take the boat into the water, just make sure there's no damage around the propeller. If you see any damage, just make sure you report it using the appropriate channels and don't take the boat out. You'll both be at the far end, operating the winch and guiding the boat into the water. You need to make sure that as the boat comes out, that the sponsons don't come into contact with the side of the container. And when you bring it all the way out, make sure that the jockey wheel at the far end comes about 1 foot in from the end of this rubber mat here. So the next thing we need to do, now the boat is actually in the water but still on the trailer, is remove it from the trailer. A couple of pieces of note, however, it's about there that you want the jockey wheel to come to, and you need to make sure that the wheel here follows this metal runner all the way down as you go, okay? If it doesn't do that, sometimes it'll be a bit more awkward getting it out. Now, the next part of the process is going to require 2 people once again. One person, this time me, is going to take the painter, this rope here attached to the bow, making sure it's not attached to anything here. And the second person is going to come in, and they're going to release this winch here gently, and then we're going to gently push it into the water. And give it a shove. So once the boat is in the water, the next thing we need to do very quickly is to bring the trailer back about halfway up, just so the wheels are about half out of the water to save contaminating the water with any oil or grease that's on the axles. Now the boat's in the water and securely attached to the side, we can do a little bit of admin. So the bungs that I mentioned earlier on, the internal ones, which have 2 on the transom and 2 in the floor, they're a bit like wine poppers where you flick the top, just make sure they're in and no water is coming into the boat. Next thing we do is turn the power on, which you can do by pulling the seat backwards and turning the breaker to the 1 position below. Now we can drop the engine, making sure to lift the little leg that's underneath the engine, but it won't go down. Don't put the engine all the way down, just make sure that it's enough so that the intake for the cooling system is below the water line. Now with the kill cord, we need to attach this to the boat. This little red toggle here, down by where the key goes in. Clip it onto the side. If you don't do that, the engine won't start. Next, we can put the other side of the kill cord around your thigh. Finally, I'm going to put the ignition key into the ignition here. Try and turn it on. The boat will not start if the throttle is not in the neutral position, so give it a bit of a wobble. As you heard, the engine wasn't far enough down, so the sound was slightly off, but now it's fine. Make sure the telltale's coming from the back of the outboard correctly, so the cooling system's working, and then you're ready to move on. So to get the boat out of the water, we're going to do the reverse of what we did before. So we're going to lift the engine first of all. Now it's out of the water, we're going to lock it down using the little leg. Now we can turn the power off. Next we need to get the trailer into the water, just so it can then be winched on. We now need to put the boat onto the trailer. So from around the corner over here where it was tethered before, we floated it around the corner, don't drive it. Bring it along as the midpoint of the trailer as best as you can, making sure the rollers are in this V-shaped position. Attach the hand winch on the trailer to the shackle at the base of the bow over here, and then use the hand winch to bring the boat out of the water all the way to the top, like this. Make sure to bring the boat all the way to the top. We're now going to winch the boat up, making sure that the tyre stays in the track here on the far side of the container. So the boat's now in, the trailer is about 1 inch or 2 from the end of the container there, so that we can make sure that the prop has cleared the door at the far end. Next we need to attach the tether. We'll attach that to the metal bar at the bottom of the hand winch here. Then we'll just turn the power off on the winch here, using the red breaker. We can test this quickly by knocking the rocker switch and securing. Next we just lock the door and we can go and check lock up at the far end.